पिछले कुछ दिनों से कोल सेक्टर के सामने एक के बाद एक चुनौतियां आईं, लेकिन कोल सेक्रेटरी अनिल स्वरूप के मुताबिक सेक्टर में कई ऐसे कदम उठाए गए हैं जिनसे हालात एकदम से बदल रहे हैं। अनिल स्वरूप से बात की हमारे सहयोगी तरुण नांगिया ने।
Hello and welcome to Current Issues with me, Tarun. October 31, 2014, Anil Swarup took charge as Coal Secretary. Less than 18 months later, the ministry has been ranked as the best performing ministry in the Government of India. Today we talked to him about the various initiatives that he undertook, as well as an outlook for the future of what can we see going forward in the next fiscal. Welcome, Mr. Swarup. How does it feel? It's been around 18 months and you look happy because your ministry has performed very well.
There is indeed some sense of satisfaction, so there is a lot more to be done.
I will give you some statistics. Coal India Limited, when you took over, was largely known as a laggard. Its performance was generally panned by in the media, but look what happens 18 months later. The numbers that I have says that last year you witnessed a growth of 8.5%. We also saw a record high production level of 536 million tons. Now, how do you get a laggard to perform so great with the same machinery, with the same people? How was this done?
Let me briefly tell you the journey that we traversed in the past year and a half. Coal production or coal availability in the country is dependent on a number of factors, but three of them are important ones. One is availability of land. The second is forest and environment clearances. And third is evacuation of that coal through railways. Yes. We worked on all these three dimensions. The first one, land availability in 15-16. Coal India had a record more than 5,000 hectares of land at its disposal during the year. And therefore, they could mine in that land. And this was made possible because more than 3,000 hectares of land was cleared from the forest content. This was also a record. Then railways gave us rakes that we needed. 210 rakes per day, which again is another record, 10% more than the previous year. Okay. So on all these three fronts, we did manage to make some headway. I think the underlying principle that we worked on was that the problems by and large are in the states. So instead of holding meetings in Delhi, yes, the team used to travel down to the states repeatedly,
including you,
including myself. Okay. We used to go down to the states, sit with the chief secretary and all senior officers, not only find resolution to the issues, but also convey a value proposition to the state governments. Because they understood that through coal mining, they are going to be benefited by royalty, by employment generation, and so on and so forth. Once they understood the value of what we were trying to convey to them, then it became very easy for them to play ball with.
But sir, as we see today, we are facing a problem of plenty. You've got too much of coal and not many takers. Is that true?
Oh, this is a very temporary phenomenon.
Yes.
Yes, indeed, on 31st of March, we did have about 50 million tons at the pit head.
Yes.
And about 30 million tons in the power plants.
Yes.
But we would believe that's a temporary phenomenon because once the demand for power increases, as it has already in the month of April this year, once that increases, the stocks will deplete. Right now, we have a PLF of about 62%.
Yes.
The PLF goes up to 66, 67, and we'll be short of coal.
Yes.
If we don't increase production further.
That brings me to one more question. When we spoke to industrialists across the country, even public sector operators, they say that 60% or 65% is not the ideal rate for a power plant. We would ideally like to see the PLF go up to 80% to make profits and be viable. Do you think that happening with schemes like Uday, or you have some other things to say which will actually increase the generation?
Uday is indeed a game changer. I think Uday will set the problems in order.
Yes.
Uday is different from what had happened in the past in the similar context.
Yes.
Uday talks about reducing transmission and distribution losses.
Yes.
Uday talks about improving in recoveries. Uday talks about rationalization of tariff structure. This will impact long term. The discoms are in a bad shape, and we are very hopeful that Uday will kick in, and once it kicks in, it will not only lead to increased PLF, it will lead to increase in demand for power. Therefore, it will lead to increase in demand for coal as well.
How many months would you like to give going forward to Uday to see the results? So would it be a time frame of 12 to 18 months or 2 years? What is the ideal projections that you have?
In my view, it will be even before that.
Yeah. Okay.
The initial steps have already been taken. A number of states have come on board.
Yes.
Number of states have floated bonds. Yes. They are being subscribed as well. Yes. So things have started moving on the Uday front, and we are very hopeful that the impact would be visible in 6-8 months.
So already we are progressing very well. PLFs have come up from 56, 58 levels to 62 levels. You're talking of 65 already. Are you hopeful of 70, 75 in the coming years?
You know, world over PLFs don't go up to 80%. I mean, it's wrong to say that
Yes.
PLFs are 80%.
Yes,
We would believe that PLF anywhere between 65 and 70 should be good enough.
should be good
And
enough.
for that, we will require a lot of coal.
Okay. So going forward, we will talk about coal linkage policy. Your government is planning to come up. Could we have a time frame when you would come up with a new coal linkage policy?
Part of it has already been announced. In fact, for the non-regulated sector,
Yes.
the auctions of linkages will actually take place in the month of June.
Okay.
So schedule has already been worked out. For the regulated sector, the matter is under consideration of the government, and I would believe that within a month's time, even that will happen. So the linkage policy or the way we are going to auction linkages will be very clear within a month.
With good steps taken by the government like safeguard duty and minimum import price, the production of steel could go up. Do you foresee increased demand with such steps?
Oh, certainly. The production of steel has already gone up.
Okay.
And once it's gone up, the demand on coal will also increase. So we are looking at both steel and cement also will go up.
Okay.
With the road sector picking up pretty fast.
Yes.
The infrastructure in all will grow, and that will lead to increase in demand of cement. And once that happens, there will be a greater demand for coal
So
as
great.
well.
So you have a lot to look forward to, but what targets have you set for CIL?
For this year, for the current financial year, we are looking at 598 million tons.
500, that's a big jump.
That's a huge jump, yeah.
So would you look forward to increase per employee productivity, or we see a huge hiring spree by you?
There isn't much of hiring spree. If you look at the past 2 years, actually, it has improved the productivity of employees. The number of employees that were there 2 years ago and today it's less than 2 years ago.
Okay.
So whereas on the one hand the production has gone up, on the other hand the number of employees has actually come down. So per employee productivity has actually gone up.
So you have a lot to congratulate to your people in Calcutta.
Oh, I have a fabulous team. I think I walk away with a lot of credit, but I think credit should go to people in Coal India
Yes.
and the team here.
Yes. If I take you to sectors like aluminium, imports have crossed 52%. So with gradually imports going up, do you think aluminium will affect some demand, or do you think it's too small a sector to affect demand?
Aluminium does not constitute a very huge segment of our coal supply, but I would believe that with gradually economy picking up,
Yes.
that sector will also improve.
Okay. Now I take you to what we read in the newspapers these days, that Coal India Limited plans to go ahead and auction 120 million tons of coal. Is it true, A? And when will it happen?
No, coal auctions will start straight away. This month end, they will start.
This month, okay.
Every month they're going to auction around 8 million tons of coal.
Okay.
So, and this is in the regulated sector.
Okay.
In the non-regulated sector, there will be more. Overall, there would be an auction of around 120 million tons through the year.
That's a big
yes,
number.
a huge number.
But I heard of some two things. One is listed here in my note here, which says that the national coal distribution policy, it does not allow CIL to supply coal without signing FSAs. A, is that true? That if you don't sign FSAs, you wouldn't be able to supply coal?
No, not necessarily. Coal India has been auctioning coal in the past.
Okay.
It's not that they're doing it for the first time. Okay. Only the quantity has gone up because the production has gone up.
Okay. So
earlier the quantities were low, so lower amount of coal was auctioned.
yes. Now taking you to the issue that the Association of Power Producers and many industry have been raising about about 12,000 megawatt of coal-fired power plants. They are looking forward to linkages. Do you think that is going to happen this year? Or
You know, the whole idea of auctioning coal is basically to provide coal to such entities.
Okay.
And these auctions will not be the auctions in the manner that they had earlier.
Yes.
These auctions would be for a longer duration. So you would have a defined mine.
Okay.
You would know the quality.
Yes.
There will be a rake linkage.
Yes.
The railway linkage will be available as well.
Yes.
And it would be for a year. So it is as good as a linkage.
A
so
linkage.
To say. So these auctions are different from the auctions.
Yes.
Earlier auctions used to be you have to take coal as is where is basis.
Yes.
But now it's a defined course for full 1 year.
Yes.
So all these power plants can actually source coal from these auctions.
Great, but you have been telling me two things. Now that I have achieved my target of legacy issue going over, I have achieved my production target, I want to look towards other areas. A, what are those other areas? I mean, the industry was very happy because you took great steps by doing away with deemed delivery and level of lifting clause. The industry welcomed it, there was legacy issues, but what are the other issues now that you will be focusing attention?
We are focusing on 3 major issues now.
Yes.
One is the quality of coal.
Yes.
We were extremely concerned that the quality of coal, there were a lot of complaints with regard to quality of coal.
Yes.
So Coal India has put in a new regime wherein there would be third-party sampling and third-party assessment of the quality of coal,
Okay.
on the basis of which payment would be made to Coal India.
Okay.
This has already been put into motion. It will mature over a period of time. There are some teething troubles. We are trying to sort them out. But I think next 3-4 months that would stabilize, and that would be one issue that we would like to address. As a part of that issue, Coal India has already started supplying crushed coal that will take care of a lot of quality issues as well.
Yes.
So one is quality. Number two that we are looking at is washing of coal.
Okay.
So far, we have not done a great job as far as coal washing is concerned.
Yes.
As you are aware that Indian coal has a lot of fly ash.
Fly ash.
So what we intend doing is to set up 15 watcheries. Coal India would set up 15 watcheries.
Yes.
They should be in position by 30th of September next year, 2017.
2017.
And we would hope that 1st of October next year, we would only send washed coal out.
Excellent.
So as I keep saying, we can't wish away coal, but we certainly attempt to wash.
Great. But what do you look out of the total production of say 590 million tons that you said? Give us a ballpark figure of how much of coal would need to be washed, and would all of that be washed?
Almost 50% of the coal would need to be washed, and we would wash that coal.
That's a big target ahead.
Yeah. And third focus area would be to prevent pilferage in Coal India.
Okay. And how would you do that?
We've already GPS tracked all the trucks of Coal India. GPS tracked. Yes. There will be mapping of where the trucks are moving. Yes. We're using other technology. We are trying to put webcams on all the mines.
Yes.
To see pilferage stopped. This was tried in one of the subsidiaries. It worked very well, and now it being extended to all the subsidiaries. And by 30th of June, all the subsidiaries will have these provisions.
Is this one of the tough things that you did? Is it difficult to do such things?
You know, anything that you do in coal is tough. But when it's tough, you enjoy it.
Excellent.
And when it happens, the enjoyment is
even the words that can only be expected out of you. Now, going forward to issues of the previous government, in 2012, coal supply to power plants was restricted to about 65% of annual contract quantity. Now with bumper production and 590 billion tons as the target, you have a plan to increase this year by year, phase by phase, or how do you look?
It's already increased. I mean, up to 90% we give it to anybody who wants it.
Okay. So it's already increased.
It's already in operation actually. We have so much coal, we are supplying coal. On the contrary, now people are saying, hold on, we don't want more.
So going ahead, CIL has good plans to invest in fertilizer plants. Is it true that you will be reviving 2 fertilizer plants?
We have been given the task of reviving 3 fertilizer plants. Yes. Sindri, Gorakhpur and Barauni.
Okay.
And both NTPC and Coal India have jointly decided. We've recently learned even Ministry of Petroleum has decided to participate in this venture.
Yes.
So a joint venture is being set up between these 3 companies, Indian Oil, NTPC and Coal India. Yes. NTPC and Coal India have already signed a joint venture agreement. Yes. So they are going ahead with investing and reviving these 3 fertilizer plants.
As you go about increasing the per employee productivity of the company, bringing in greater efficiency in CIL, do you see the consumer interest? I'm talking about the investor interest going up into the company, because the government has been on a path of selling stakes or disinvestment as you call it. Do you think that the company will be a valuable investment proposition for investors?
I would believe Coal India is already a very valuable company, and its value is going to increase. Yes. Perceptions may vary, but internally we are taking all steps to see that Coal India becomes the best in the world.
With such ambitious targets, what kind of hiring you expect in the next 12 to 18 months?
I don't have numbers readily available with me, but there would be a lot of hiring that will happen.
And the kind of capital expenditure that is?
Oh, we are looking at investing anywhere between $8 to $9 billion in the next 4 to 5 years.
Okay. Labor unions are an issue. We have seen issues. They have issues with modernization, basically doubts which needed to be cleared. Are labor unions on board with the kind of because we see a lot of fast moving changes in your government and quick decisions, results are seen, but labor unions are used to a certain way of working. Do you think that is a tough part to negotiate?
No, they are on board, and we keep talking to them. We wouldn't have brought about these changes without them being on board. Yes. So they are on board. If there are any issues, we continue to discuss with them. In future also we'll continue to discuss with them.
If I take you back to when you took charge in October 2014, tell us what kind of fears you had in mind, because this was a sector who nobody was willing to touch. You were put in charge, and what do you see today? First, is there a sense of fulfillment with the job you have done? You have been praised among your fraternity also for the work that the ministry has done. What would you cite as your achievements for the sector?
I think it was baptism by fire, if I can use that phrase. Yes. To begin with. There were darkness all around, and you don't expect anything else from coal. Yes. But the good thing that has happened is people have grown in confidence.
Yes.
They've started believing in themselves. Yes. And that, I think, is the biggest change that has come about. People have confidence in themselves. Yes. They know that they can deliver it, and they are moving in that direction.
Going forward in the next 12 months, or maybe this fiscal that we are currently in, what would be the 3 top or 4 type items that you want to do on your agenda for the coal sector, and that we would be able to talk next year?
As I mentioned to you, the 3 top agenda items are quality, washing of coal in the context of environment, and preventing pilferage. These are the 3 basic items for our concern this year.
And you are very confident that you are on your mission to 1 billion tons by 2020.
We are moving in that direction. We are certainly moving in that direction. We are believers in doing a job, focusing on processes. The result will come.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Swarup, for giving us your time, and thank you so much for speaking to News World India. We hope we get to speak to you next year again about the same month and talk about your next round of achievements. We wish you best of luck in your mission. Thank you so much.
Thank you.